So if you're unsure what to post, don't fret. I get it. I've been there. But that's exactly what we're going to discuss and you will learn today is the power of content pillars and using them in your social media marketing strategy and how when you implement content pillars, what exactly they are, but how they will help you attract more of your ideal clients so that way you can start increasing conversions. So content pillars are exactly what you want to be known for within your niche and industry. So that way when new eyes come to your page, they know exactly who you are and how you can specifically help them with the specific pain or problem that they are currently experiencing. And there are some people who might say like, you need like 9 or 10 content pillars. And I feel like in the beginning, you can have more of a broad sense of your pillars within your content marketing strategy when you're looking to grow before really niching down. And then once you grow, you'll narrow those content pillars down to like more like 3 to 5 specific pillars. So for example, if you were a business coach or a service provider, I myself am a business coach. So the content pillars that I specifically focus on are sales strategy, content marketing strategy, Instagram tips, tricks, and hacks, along with mindset. And that's more so like inspiration and personal brand. And that is a way that you are able to communicate to your audience that you are an expert within this industry. And all of those pillars all funnel into what you specifically do. So for me, I am an Instagram sales marketing and business coach, specifically helping you as a service provider or coach or someone who's looking to start an online business learn how to generate and create attraction content using magnetic messaging that's going to help you increase conversions and sales, all by attracting the right eyes to your page, all organically without running paid ads or submitting cold DMs. And when you have various content pillars in your page, this will allow more versatility within your timeline. So that way when people come to your page, it's not boring where they're saying the exact same thing. For example, you only are talking about Instagram growth every single day. And they're like, okay, I get it. What else can I learn? And it just also broadens your horizon as an expert within your niche and your industry. And it also helps to create organization within your timeline. So for example, maybe Monday you're focusing on growth and maybe your pillar is going to be content. But then maybe Tuesday you're giving tips in regards to sales strategy. And then maybe Wednesday might be more inspirational or you're sharing a client testimonial. Thursday, you're giving tips, and this is just going based off of my content pillars. You're giving tips in regards to content marketing or an Instagram hack. And then Friday can be more like personal brand, you sharing your story. That is just an example, but you would choose whatever works best for you and your strategy. And you don't necessarily need to post every single day, but if you can be consistent and post maybe like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and so maybe you also go live. So everyone in your audience knows. For example, I go live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. EST, specifically going into tips. And I circulate through various content pillars, or I focus on whatever I am promoting at the time during that month. For example, when I did fitness, some of my content pillars were, of course, various simple exercises that you can do at home in under 30 minutes. Then how to do proper form, so like technique. I also was really big on nutrition. So easy meals under 10 minutes, or why you can actually eat more carbs and lose more weight. So breaking myths. And then I also did a lot of mindset and habit training. So those are some of the content pillars I focused on when I was in fitness and nutrition. And then when you do have a pillar, then you'll break down like various topics that maybe your audience is thinking. So for example, nutrition, common myths in regards to I need to eat less to lose weight, or I have to skip breakfast, or I can't have a cheat meal. So all these different things that your audience might be experiencing in regards to nutrition, or I don't know how to read a label, or what are macros? So these are things that I created within my content, and you can just come up with various ideas from actually doing. A very great technique is to do polls in your stories and ask specific questions and find out what exactly your audience is into. Like maybe you ask your audience like, hey, do you love nutrition tips more or fitness tips? Which one? And then they say nutrition. And then you ask specific questions about nutrition based off of your audience's feedback. I did that a lot, and that helped me come up with so many content ideas, tips, and strategies. Also, when I was doing fitness on a YouTube channel, these are just examples. But coming back, now that you have your content pillars and you understand, okay, these are the specific pillars I'm going to be focusing on, then you break it down into some classifications or categories. And so what that is like, so now say for example, myself, Instagram growth tips. And then classification would be like an educational piece. So how-tos, tips and tricks, myths and mistakes, or tutorials. And by doing more educational pieces, it helps, again, build more authority within your niche, but it also adds value. And like I've said in previous videos, valued-based content. So visual value, being purposeful, action-driven. So they're able to possibly actually take actions and implement the strategies that you teach at that exact given time. Leadership. So you are the authority. So positioning yourself as the authority with your audience. Unique to yourself. So always being your authentic self. Edutaining. So meaning it's educational, but also entertaining. And you don't have to do all these dances and stuff, but it does help catch the eye. And then daily deliverance. And I don't mean daily every single day, if you can, but just to have a consistent cadence on how often you're posting. And then the next classification after educational is personal brand. And what that is really actually sharing your story. And that's more so like you being your authentic self. So that is going to allow you to build trust with your audience. And you've probably heard me say this before in other videos, but trust is what builds connection. Connection creates conversation, and conversations turn into conversions. And ultimately, at the end of the day, if you are an online business owner or service provider, that's your end goal. That is why you're creating content. That is why you're showing up consistently. That is why you're watching this video, because at the end of the day, you desire to achieve more within your business. And usually it comes down to a financial means or building a community. And so by you showing up as your authentic self with your personal brand, and that might be behind the scenes, a day in the life, sharing your story of where you were to where you are today, and maybe the hurdles and the triumphs and mistakes that you made that you are telling others, you don't have to make these same mistakes. This is what I did. This is how you can achieve the same exact thing without hitting all these hurdles. And also sharing before and afters, again, why you started, and client testimonials. And all of that will help breed trust by you sharing your personal brand. And then you go take that personal brand and the educational piece in the classifications to your content pillars. So sharing a story about maybe how you achieved your first 10K in sales by doing less. That would be under the content pillar of sales. Or how this exact content, still my exact content strategy of how I attract clients with ease. That would go under marketing and content, and so forth. And then next content classification is promotional, or sharing your offer. Because at the end of the day, you're here to get sales. Am I right? Or am I right?
Yes.
So you don't have to be directly selling to actually make sales. And how you can do that without feeling salesy is by sharing content like, as I mentioned earlier, testimonials. And then always having a call to action on every post. And it doesn't have to lead to a sale. It could just be asking an insightful question to start a conversation, or asking people to shoot you a DM if they relate to this, or actually directing people to the link in your bio, tip Bink and Lio, only because I recently learned that if you do put link in bio on any Instagram post, even on TikTok, they'll actually flag it as advertising, and you're not paying for advertising. So they're not really going to promote your video, and it's going to not perform well in the algorithm. So instead, ask questions or put Bink and Lio. And by you doing that, it's basically a different way to sell to your audience without selling. Another tip is do maybe like a story, or create a highlight reel, or even just a post where you start overcoming common objections that you know that your audience is frequently thinking of or asking. And by you answering that in advance, they're going to be like, oh, okay, well, maybe I can start now. For example, there's always like that question of time, like, well, maybe I'll start next month, or I'll start on Monday. And at the end of the day, it's a sense of urgency. I always like to say there's no better time than now. When you wait, it's like you have a lump on your shoulder, and this has been pain that you've been having for months. The longer you continue to wait, it starts growing, it starts aggravating you more, till it gets to a point where now you have to go to a doctor and possibly have surgery to have this lump removed, versus if you started doing the exercises and doing things to get it fixed. It's the same thing within your business. if you can watch all the YouTube videos you want, or try to piecemeal together different pieces of someone's program. But if you actually take the time to invest in that coach or that course, you're going to get from A to B a lot faster than trying to do it yourself. And then also it's great to actually share your exact framework, your methodology. What are things that you do in your business differently than maybe another coach or another service provider in your industry? And like sharing your framework, again, it's almost sharing your story and your personal brand of how you got from A to B, and these are the exact steps to fill and close the gap for your ideal client who's currently in the same position that you once were, and they're desiring to get to where you are now or even greater. And now once you understand what your content pillars are, what your content classifications are, you start learning that content has just become a lot easier because you have a specific strategy. And then when you go to post, now you think of like, what is the purpose? As I mentioned earlier, always having a valued content method and strategy. When you understand the purpose behind every post, for example, maybe you are doing a sales post or a reel, and you know that the purpose is you're trying to get growth or visibility. So maybe you use a trending audio, you make it funny, you will give quick tips that are relatable, maybe share some wins, or make it shareable or savable or funny. And by it being shared or saved, now you're focusing on growth, because when one person shares that reel or shares that carousel, for example, or shares that graphic or how to, it now expands your reach and your visibility. Another focus might be community, and that is where you're looking to foster relationships and nurture them. And that might be more of a personal brand post where you are also asking questions about your audience, and then they feel like they can relate to you. Like for example, myself, anytime I post a content piece about being a mom and an entrepreneur and how I'm able to manage both, or my growth story, someone always comments like, oh my gosh, that's exactly where I've been, I can relate, or you just got a new follower because I just love this post, thank you for sharing your story. Things like that, where now you're building a community, a tribe, because you don't just want followers or numbers in your feed or as subscribers. You want genuine people who are there for you, where you can actually connect with and engage and create impact. Then sales, obviously, as mentioned earlier, at the end of the day, we're all here to share and promote our offer. And so that's what you want to be thinking about eventually. You don't want to have every post or every story to just be sell, 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 sell. That's why you want to sprinkle and have versatility with the growth factor and with the community factor. But you want to be also making sure that you're focusing on attracting the right people, the right eyes, and the right ideal clients. And then the next step is to plan. So now you understand what specific 4 to 5 content pillars you have, or maybe even 8 if you're starting out. And then now you understand the classifications behind each one. Then you want to write down maybe like 7 to 8 struggles based off of each pillar or classification. And then now you plan it out: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I ideally actually like to take Saturdays and Sundays off. And then you choose the pillar. So for example, let's say content marketing, you choose the content category, which I'll say personal brand, and then the content purpose. The purpose is connection and community. And then that's how you base your content. I actually have all of this outlined within my ultimate Instagram content strategy guide. If you would love that, just comment content below and I'll make sure to share that with you and you can get access. Along with that, if you're kind of unsure, like, okay, I would love a plug and play strategy that's sharing exactly how to do everything you just discussed, then go ahead and comment M3 below, where I will share with you money-making messaging, which, as you can see right here, there's literally a plug-and-play content strategy where you can literally come up with like 30 to 50 plus ideas in one sitting. And that is exactly what you will learn within money-making messaging. So to recap, which I love recaps, but with your content pillars, you want to essentially just come up with pillars that you want to specifically be known for within your industry and have versatility within your timeline. Ideally, you want to have 4 to 5 based on your niche. You can do research your competitors, research YouTube videos, research TikTok, understand, okay, what's performing and what are people looking for, and take the time to actually do research and ask your audience. Once you have your content pillars, then you will create your content classifications and various categories such as educational, personal brand, and promotional / offer based. Then you will think of the purpose. Is it for growth or visibility? Is it for growing my community? Or is it to increase my sales and traffic? And then you will plan it all out. I like to use Notion or Trello for all of my content planning. If I'm doing video, I like to use Frame.io with my assistant. I highly recommend, if you haven't delegated, it's not necessary. I highly, highly recommend. It's just going to take a lot of the stress and ease off of the content creation process. And if you found all of this helpful and you're looking to start generating more revenue within your business, make sure to stay tuned and turn on your notifications for next week's video, where I will be discussing how to consistently generate 10K months all online without burnout within your online coaching business or service-based business. So as always, make sure to subscribe, and I shall see you in the next video.